This is Bessie.
She's going to be put out to pasture and put in the museum for now.
Bessie doesn't produce milk, but she's turning out to be quite the cash cow.
You know, out of 6 square feet, we generated about $18,000 in revenue lift in the first 30 days in the first trial. And it's just ramped from there.
ECOATM is a startup out of Southern California that makes recycling your electronic devices, particularly phones, easy.
So I'm shopping in where? Where am I? Best Buy or big box retailer?
You know, we're still trialing it, but where there's high foot traffic and where you might be buying a new phone.
So I come up to the machine, I got my old phone, let's say, and this is all touchpad automated, correct? Right. But tell me what happens when I place my phone in this area here where the machine then reads stuff.
So the consumer we would invite you to put your phone in. We have cameras that look at the phone and can ID the model of the phone, and then also tell what kind of damage it has.
ECOATM's founders did some research and found a Nokia study that stated that only 3% of old cell phones are recycled worldwide. That works out to be 5 to 6 old cell phones per household in the US.
So how do we get those things back? And what we decided is that the current methods of getting them back, the threshold was just too high for most people to participate. So how do you bring that threshold up to a point where people will actually do it? Make it convenient, make it financially incentivized, erase their data. People will do the right thing, and they want to do the right thing if
there's some incentive.
If there's financial incentive and if it's easy, right? Everybody wants to, they'll say they want to do the right thing, but you gotta, meet them halfway or 3/4 of the way or whatever it takes. And we decided this was it and built it, and it turns out it works.
ECOATM works like this. Find a kiosk in your favorite retailer and place your phone under ECOATM's camera. Their technology identifies your phone from over 3,000 phone models dating back as far as the 1980s and assesses damage or wear and tear.
Now that's super advanced. So this technology that you've built or software that you've, I guess, patented or something, because I don't know who else does that.
Yeah, it's not trivial. Visual recognition technology has come a long way. We're applying it to this particular problem. The difficult part is really telling the wear and tear on the phone.
I was going to say,
and how much that makes the value in the secondary market.
Next, ECOATM tells me what the real-time market price is for my phone. If it has some value and I accept it, my personal data is erased, I identify myself for state law purposes, and the phone is dropped in and labeled.
With visibility comes accountability, and so this is a really good system because we know who did what and we can track all the way through.
And here's the good part. I get a printout for store credit at the retail store I'm in.
Even if you have a valueless phone or a low value phone, you're still going to get a lot of value out of this machine for doing the right thing and recycling.
ECOATM prints out coupons, discounts, and store promotions for your phone, even when it's worth nothing.
It really is incentivizes.
Yeah,
certainly.
That's the key.
And you're already in the store, you're probably already shopping, so lets you have more. I'm interested in, the how does this work? You got to make something from it.
Right.
The retailers are excited to have it. So how is everything winning?
So when we shop for the best price, we don't present that entire price to the consumer. We save a little bit for ourselves.
I see, okay.
And we have to pay for the kiosk, for the maintenance.
Because ECOATM collects so many phones, they usually get better prices on the recycled phones, more than what you or I could get trying to sell one on eBay.
And then the store is giving store credit. So how does that work?
Print out the store credit. Then you go buy something in the store.
Okay.
The store then adds those receipts up and sends me an invoice, and I pay them.
ECOATM then gets phones shipped to their headquarters and sells the phones or parts to a number of buyers, many in developing countries.
There's always a cycle for used phones. Getting these into those people's hands is a big deal.
It sounds like an all-around winning business model. But when 4 entrepreneur friends were sitting in a coffee shop in 2008 dreaming up ECOATM, they didn't expect the lines and enthusiasm people would have for recycling old phones.
We stuck it out there, and within a week, lines started forming. Within 2-3 weeks, there was a waiting line, and it got to be 45 minutes long.
Everyone, when they see it, and in their mind triggers, wow, now I know what I can do with these phones. Everyone has 5, 6, 7 phones, some of them sitting in their drawer. And why are they in their drawer? Because they know it's bad to throw it away. So when they walk in the mall, or they walk past their grocery store, or they walk in one of these other big box retailers and they see the box, they go, here's the place I do it. And of course, we're all financially motivated. When you see that dollar sign, they say, and I can make money.
And recycling phones has some major value to the economy.
There's $5 billion of cell phones in your drawer. That's the value in the drawer, 6 per household, and 150 million new ones going in every year. $5 billion a year that sits in a drawer and decays over time to zero value. If we can only capture even a portion of that and put it back into the economy by turning that junk, the trash, into cash, feeding it back into the economy, that's a $5 billion stimulus package.
ECOATM is testing the best store types to place the kiosks in while refining their visual identification technology further. Keep your eyes peeled though. You're sure to spot a Bessie sometime soon.
Did you know ECOATM is a safe, easy, and convenient way to recycle your unwanted cell phone, tablet, or MP3 player? To get started, simply have your charged device and ID ready and touch the screen to start. We take fraud very seriously. You must be 18 years old and have a valid state ID. Once the machine validates your ID, a sticker will print from the right side of the kiosk. Simply place the sticker on the back of your device. This sticker helps us track your device from collection to processing to sales. Now, place your device in the kiosk. Once the kiosk has completed the external inspection and identified your device, you'll be given the proper cord to connect to. Plug in the cord and place the device back into the kiosk to begin the internal inspection. Don't worry, we don't touch any personal or private information. Looking good. ECOATM is now ready to present a price based on your device's make, model, and condition. Next, the ECOATM kiosk will scan your thumb for your e-signature. This is an important security measure. It is also your electronic signature indicating that you agree to our terms and conditions and will sell us your device. And that is it. In some instances, ECOATM may not be able to provide cash for your device. This happens if a device is too old to resell or refurbish. Even if your device doesn't have value, you will still have the option to help those in need through a charitable donation. 100% of the money donated will go to the charity you choose. Congratulations! You have helped to keep the environment clean by keeping your device out of a landfill. Thank you. From ECOATM.
Well, the cell phone theft or electronic devices, may it be cell phones or iPods, is really the modern day 21st century purse snatch.
In the past, a cell phone was just an additional item taken. Now we're in a situation where people are specifically targeting cell phones.
You just look at any corner, any part of any congested urban area now, people are using their cell phones to about their daily business.
And then we really, in the last year, began to see the theft of cell phones increase exponentially.
There's certain phone stores that have a reputation with the suspects we've arrested that they'll take phones, no questions asked, and give them a decent amount. Also, online ads like Craigslist are very common ways for people to sell phones.
Even though we're a recycling kiosk and the primary use of the kiosk is to recycle and get good value for electronics, we actually trigger a number of different laws, different all over the country, but they're called secondhand dealer laws.
And that requires us to understand if there are any secondhand dealer laws in the state or local ordinance or regulations that we're required to comply with.
The return rates on stolen phones are incredibly low. The good news is that if a stolen phone winds up into an ECOATM, we've got a return rate that's in the high 90%.
We had several ECOATMs open up in our jurisdiction. Of course, we met them with initial skepticism. You have to remember, at the time, we were looking for solutions. This, as it was introduced, appeared to be another part of the problem. We began to realize that the ECOATMs were a source of information for us. We've cultivated that since.
We have had suspects put phones in the ECOATM. Just happened last month. It was It was tracked, the phone went off. Where it went off was right in front of an ECOATM. The detectives involved in that case made a call to ECOATM and explained the situation. They remotely popped the ATM and it was back in the victim's hand that night.
The ability for ECOATM to find and return a phone is something that we've built into the process.
It is the one company, as we can see now, that we get good, reliable data on who is actually recycling cell phones.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
The quality control, having an actual person look at who was turning the cell phones in, the examination of the photographs in relation to the ID, and then turning people away because they couldn't get a good photo or the information wasn't right. They're vetting out people at the sites by a real person back here in California.
I had the opportunity today to actually visit that facility, and I'm somewhat impressed. I mean, we look at it. You have the cell phone, you have the fingerprint, and you have a picture of the suspect. What more information do you need in order to prosecute someone for stealing stolen property? I mean, it affords law enforcement another tool as it relates to cell phones in its effort of arresting bad guys, and that's what we're in the business to, arrest bad guys.
I thought the security on it was very good, where they made sure there wasn't a stolen piece of equipment, checked the serial, the ID.
I mean, if I stole a phone, I probably wouldn't bring it here to try and sell it because it's got cameras on it. So I think you wouldn't even think about it because there's a camera that's kind of looking at you like an ATM machine. It probably actually might even find people who do steal cell phones.
So from the very first kiosk prototype that we built, it had those safeguards built in, a driver's license reader and a thumbprint reader and those things.
Cell phone theft is bad for ECOATM's business. Buying a cell phone that's stolen is bad for ECOATM's business because we take a complete loss on that particular transaction.
We don't want people going to Craigslist or street corners or going to underground black markets. We want them to do it in a safe place.
And that's where we've gotten to today, where we've got advanced license scanners. We've got multiple high-definition cameras on the kiosks. We work very closely with law enforcement officials. We report every transaction that we do at an ECOATM to the local police. We track serial numbers. And frankly, we've spent quite a bit of time, money, and brain power in terms of helping police solve some of these problems. And it's something that we're really proud of about the way that the business has been able to grow.